My name's Thomas Waddle. This is the Whisky Sour Hour. This week, I finally got round to seeing the new Tron Ares. Anybody that's listened to the show will know we highlighted Joseph Kaczynski and the double features that I would recommend watching, and Tron Legacy and Top Gun Maverick are just like amazing movies. Specifically, Tron Legacy. It was the movie that 3 years into the kind of 3D movie craze, it was the one that I was actually like, you know what, these guys could be onto something here, because I saw Avatar and it never really blew me away. And Tron Legacy, between the visuals, the actually really subtle performances that are in there, and obviously like the mad soundtrack from Daft Punk and Joseph Trapanese. It was incredible. It stuck with me to this day. It's my it's my benchmark when testing sound systems. I'll stick on the grid, and those dulcet tones of Jeff Bridges just carry it over. And if your sound system can handle it, you're onto a winner there. So for the last, I'd say 9 years, there's been teases of, there's going to be a Tron Legacy sequel, and then it became, it was going to be a reboot. And when you start looking into it, you're starting to get worried, thinking what is going to be going on. And we're finally at the point now where the movie's out. I'd saw middling reviews, as is with most of the Tron series. Unfortunately, on paper it looks pretty guff, when the reality is, for the time, 1982, the original Tron comes out. The special effects now obviously are mega dated, but you can appreciate what they were going for. Tron Legacy comes out in 2010, and like I say, it blows the doors off when it comes to what 3D can be done, and also the Disney craze of de-aging. Now, it's a bit ropey, but my argument is that these are supposed to be like video games, so it's like the video game graphics, and the further away we get from it, it's like going back and playing like Spyro the Dragon in the PlayStation 1. It's still blocky, but it's still charming, and it's the same with Clue, the villain from Tron Legacy, who is played with Jeff Bridges, who does double duty playing Kevin Flynn. As I say, it's one of those movies that it's stuck with me, and like I say, the nerves of, oh God, what they're going to do. Jared Leto signed on. Anybody that 10 years ago was excited for anything maybe DC was doing with regards to the Suicide Squad, and you're thinking to yourself, coming off Dallas Buyers Club, Jared Leto was an Oscar winner, and what he done with Joker was questionable. Let's no beat around the bush with that. But he makes choices, and I was worried maybe that it was going to be overpowering for this. And then, like I say, you see the middling reviews, you start panicking, thinking, what is going to happen here to my beloved franchise? Well, managed to go and see the film with my good friend Jamie, who is also a bit of an Uber fan when it comes to Tron Legacy, and the fear was there, sitting in the theatre waiting for it to come on. He looks across to us and tries to get. No, I'm only joking. He looks across to us, and what he says is, "I wonder if they'll open the film with the grid, or a monologue similar to the one from Tron Legacy." And no sooner had he said that, does such a monologue start, and it just immediately calmed the nerves. You're like, this is going to be fine. And to skip to the end, we're going to try and avoid as many spoilers as possible. Sorry, I've only had my one cup of tea today. I'm feeling it a wee bit. To skip to the end, I was satisfied absolutely with this movie. Now, I'm in the minority probably when I say that Tron Legacy, being one of my favourite films, is a 9 out of 10. I very rarely would give a 10. I think the only films I would maybe consider giving a 10 would be like Lord of the Rings, the trilogy, maybe Back to the Future Part 1. So 9 out of 10 is like, that to me is like peak cinema. Most of my favourite films would be around 9s. Like I say, you get the odd 10 thrown in there. So when I say 7 for Tron Aries. I mean that with the most respect put on that. I went in with I was almost going to say I had no expectations, when the reality is I had a lot of expectations, but I didn't want to. I was like knowingly trying to, put them down and not kind of buy in to the negativity really surrounding the review scores. And I tend not to look at reviews because it sometimes does colour your opinion. If you go in expecting something to be amazing, it happened with me with Breaking Bad. You go in expecting an amazing show, and don't get me wrong, Breaking Bad is great, but it's not. Game of Thrones was still on, so it's not going to be the best show in the world. But here we are, alas. So the film itself, it's very much what you would expect. Like you've got the world of Tron. You've got Encom, and you've got Dillinger. Now Dillinger was the bad guy in the original Tron. The late great David Warner playing double duty. He played Sark and he played Dillinger as well in the real world. So you've got the two corporations, and considering the film was in development for around 8 to 9 years, you've got to wonder, they must have been retooling this very much up to the last kick of the ball. The film itself looks incredible from the opening all the way through to the end. There's many a point I'm going to make this a wallpaper for my computer. The soundtrack by Nine Inch Nails, outstanding. Now, if you were to say to me, gun to my head, is it up there with Daft Punk, or is it going to just be, standalone? I would have to say I still prefer the Daft Punk one, but that's just me. Those are I would gravitate towards Daft Punk more than normally I would with Nine Inch Nails, Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross. Although I have found myself, if you look at my Spotify, playing it more than I actually thought I was going to be into it. The single "Alive As You Need Me to Be" is an absolute jam, but I wasn't sure if the rest of the soundtrack would hold up. And what it does is it samples the Alive As You Need to Be samples songs and leitmotifs from the actual film score. And to say I'm overly satisfied with the product there is what it is. It's a great soundtrack. Performances wise, now this was where I was looking. I was skeptical because, like, I like Jared Leto. I know that there's a lot of negativity around him now regarding cult-like status and things like that. When I was watching this, he plays the kind of robot character very well. And the thing is, he is an Academy Award winning actor. But the problem that comes with that is there's a lot of the time you have to think there's like diva like qualities, and he is a larger than life character. I will say this right now: the character of Ares, who he plays, starts off very robotic, and that's the whole point. But the subtlety that comes from his performance is really stellar. There's plenty of kind of chuckle moments due to his perceived kind of humour and the way he delivers his lines. It was refreshing, very much so, regarding the way in which the character developed. I didn't expect that. The way he plays off the other characters, I don't want to spoil too much. I mean, it's still only been out for a week, so I would strongly suggest going and seeing it. But the way he plays off the other characters, because the reality is he isn't from the grid that we know, the grid being the digital world. We're used to the Encom grid, which is obviously your blacks, blues, and when the original film was out, it was your greys and blues, kind of leotard uniforms. The Dillinger grid, where he originates from, is like very dark, and I suppose that's maybe where the industrial Nine Inch Nails soundtrack really shines. And it's from here that obviously the film really kicks off. He has cohorts, Athena, who steals some of the scenes she's in regarding the action. I would strongly suggest, as I say, going to see it. This is a different kind of video, a bit more, or I say video, it's we're recording it, there is a video, but it's mostly audio. It's a wee bit different. I know I keep saying, oh, we've moved, we've moved studio, and we have. It is just taking a little bit longer than I would like to get everything set up, so that this is a quicker one, done on the smaller kind of transportable mics that we've used for interviews in the past. But yeah, the film itself, as I say, is it's the right length. It sets everything up. Maybe the first 20 minutes, you're thinking you could argue it's about to get too slow, and then action scene kicks off, and it's a really well done representation of what hacking is. Now, obviously, you can watch the movies and it's like, the guys tapping on the keys of the computer, and they're like, rattling them, and they're like, I'm in. Oh my god, it's a fire, what, that kind of stuff. The way it does it is somebody's doing that, but then it cuts to inside the computer, and all these actions that this person's talking about are actually commands that you're seeing these soldiers carry out. One of them being, as I say, Jared Leto's character, Tron Ares. Tron Ares. He is Ares. Tron is the name of the show or the film. But the weird thing is, when you think of Tron, Tron is a character played by Bruce Boxleitner, was in Tron Legacy. His character ended up becoming Rinsler. Spoiler alert for a 15-year-old movie. But he's not in this, so it's weird. Tron as a character has probably only appeared in maybe like 45 minutes to an hour of like 6 hours worth of movies, which is a bit bizarre. It's a choice, but Tron's a pretty cool name, so we'll let him away with it. But yeah, some of the action sequences are just really well done. I'm not going to go into spoilers with them. As I say, the hacking that I spoke about there was really cool. But there's also a really well done light cycle chase. Now, we've had light cycles in the kind of 1982 movie, and then we had a really well done action scene in Tron Legacy with light cycles, and in this one, rather than have it in the grid, the light cycles are in the real world. The kind of caveat being characters from the grid can only last 29 seconds without de-resing in the real world. So it was, you felt the tension of these characters going to be disintegrating in front of you as if they didn't get their mission complete. So it was, you had that in the back of your mind, and you just felt the kind of tension ramping up, and by the time the action sequence ends, you're actually like, well, I can appreciate the kind of anxiety that character would have had, because these are supposed to be security programs. So the fact that you start seeing them exhibiting human emotions, I'm maybe looking a wee bit too much into it, but I think that's what they were going for. Like sentience. I mean, you can all open Chat GPT now and have a conversation. It sounds like you're having a phone conversation with somebody. It's crazy what you can do with the likes of AI. So for it to show that sentience can happen anywhere, maybe not. It's not an eye-opening kind of thing, but I just think for a it really should just be a popcorn movie. It's one of those ones where you're like, actually, you know what, that's pretty cool, and we'll let them away with it. Greta Lee, who plays Eve in the film, she's the CEO of Encom, following I was going to say the passing of Sam Flynn. He was the main character in Tron Legacy, but he's passed the torch and left, and he's left it to Eve and her sister, who isn't in the film as much because she's passed away, and that's kind of one of the driving forces behind the film. Outstanding, like such a good character. Never felt like she was talking down to anybody. It was like really relatable, and I felt like a believable CEO, if that makes sense. I mean, I'm not saying that all CEOs are going to go into the middle of Alaska to find out information about stuff, but here we are. Yeah, so Greta Lee is just a breath of fresh air. I haven't seen her in many things. I hope to see her in a lot more. 9 Inch Nails, we've obviously touched on the soundtrack. I found myself with the Dark Knight's coming in, when you're walking the dogs, listening to this soundtrack. It's been out for just about a month now. I tried to avoid it as much as I could. I listened to the single, like I say, as alive as you need me to be, and I've listened to some of the other kind of songs just around it. I didn't want to listen to too much, just because, as I say, I feel like you're kind of spoiling the movie a little bit, because in a way it's one of the selling points is just how good the music's going to be. And listening to it back, I wasn't disappointed. Like I'd mentioned earlier, it samples a lot of the songs that are used throughout the score, so it was very interesting to hear the likes of, like a random kind of backbeat from Alive as You Need Me to Be is actually like the theme for the Dillinger, like corporation as a whole, which is really cool. I love when leitmotifs are reflected that way, and maybe like show a bit more character without anybody having to speak. It's just through the music, which is always really cool. On a whole, I would love to say it was perfect. I think it made the mistake of doing what a lot of movies do, and it puts all its eggs in a basket to say that there is going to be a sequel. I wish it hadn't. There is a mid credit scene, meaning that it literally starts up after the first set of credits end, which is like 30 seconds maybe. It's a really cool scene, but without the guarantee of there being another Tron movie, it just feels like a big teaser for no reason. And I would I would love to see more. The way the box office has been going, it might have legs. The word of mouth, I've been online, obviously reading about it. A lot of people are enjoying it, and I think the critics are maybe just being a little bit harsh. But that's critics. I think these days, I think a lot of people just are out to be angry about films, when like they have their place. You don't want to be going to every movie and having an Oppenheimer experience. Sometimes you just want a Barbie experience, and I'd put this obviously in the kind of latter camp there. It is very much, have your popcorn, have your juice, and just enjoy the cool action and screen. And if there's a little bit of things you can kind of chew into later on and think about, it's very much going to be the case you can do that with this. And I found myself driving home after it, wondering like, what happens if AI does do that? Is there a grid inside my computer? Obviously, I'm pretty sure there's not. But listen, the way AI is going, you probably could conjure one up anyway. I just don't want to be getting taken into it. I've turned my webcam off just in case there's any lasers coming out trying to pull you in there. The overall is the movie, as I say, a solid 9 out of 10. That was Tron Legacy. It's a solid 7 out of 10. I strongly recommend it if you get the chance to see it on the biggest screen possible. Even the showcase in Paisley, the sound was great. So I can only imagine what it'd be like if you're in like a Dolby Atmos powered screen, or the IMAX would be probably face melting. So you'd maybe have to watch that, put some suntan lotion on before you go out. The kind of closing thoughts are, I wish there was more Tron. I wish there was just more movies. I wish it was a direct sequel to Legacy with the same characters played by Garrett Hedlund and Olivia Wilde. Unfortunately, it's just we never got that. Tron Ares is the best of what else you were going to get. I don't think there was a world where you were going to get a movie that was going to be as close to Legacy as I would have liked. But the fact of the matter is, it's a movie that it stands in its own. Maybe leans into too much of a tease to what's to come. But listen, if you're no backing yourself, then who is going to back you? I would highly recommend seeing it, as I say, on a big screen. But if you wait till it comes out, it's it's one of those ones. You'll enjoy it either way. Tron Legacy is, as I say, one of my favourite movies. If you're doing nothing this weekend, I would highly recommend maybe jumping onto your Disney Plus or your dodgy Fire Stick and watching that. It is, I could do it right now. There is a 4K coming out there. I think I'm going to have to pick that up. That's just it's too good not to. But yeah, Tron. Hopefully it's back. I don't think it is going to stay around very long, but hopefully it does. Hopefully, like I said, earlier in this, it's been, the move has happened. We are getting everything set up. The kitchen, the office is near completion. I really appreciate the time that people give us to listening to us each week. The numbers continue to be consistent. It means a lot. This is a real passion, and you know we'll just ride it out. I am eternally grateful to everybody who does listen. I'm gonna sign off now because I fear I may need to have like a can of Monster or something to last. Tron Aries, see it in the big screen. If you want to get in touch with the show, as always, you can contact us at the Whisky Sour Hour on Facebook or Instagram. If you want to contact through email, it's nice and easy. Contact at thewhiskeysourhour.com. As simple as that. Emails will come through, we'll get them answered. If you want to post a question to the show or if you want to come on the show, just get in touch any way you feel comfortable and we'll accommodate you in any way we can. Anywho, I've been Thomas Waddle. This has been the Whisky Sour Hour. Cheers.